I'm Marsden, and I'm a free speech campaigner. Okay, but what is free speech actually?
My name is Philip Cowell. I'm the head of programmes at English Pen. I actually think that you only get a society that flourishes where everyone is able to become the best that they can possibly become when you have free speech. What is it like to listen to something that's difficult to hear? And that is free speech. We have to be able to listen to those things which we don't agree with. So in a way, free speech is about listening. It's about free listening. It's about being as free as you can with your ears, as well as with your mouths. Obviously, we need to be saying these things to each other. We need to be perhaps practicing how to speak. We practice obviously in our classrooms, but we practice at home, don't we? There's free speech at home, or is there? Perhaps there isn't free speech at home. Is there free speech in this classroom, wherever you are right now? I go into prisons quite a bit. I do workshops in prisons. And obviously there it's a very different scenario as well. So free speech in prisons, free speech on the street. What's it like for you in all these different settings? I think free speech is where a society is really noisy. It's not one where there's this perfect silence. It's a really noisy society where people get cross. But it's out of that noise and out of that crossness that I think you get these amazing things like books and literature and culture and cinema and friendships and just really the great things, the things that we value and cherish, that we really, really rely on and take for granted. And in fact, that's the key message, really, I think, is that we can take free speech for granted. And actually, perhaps it's a really precious thing.
My name is Jo Glanville, Director of English Pen. Free speech is something that we tend to take for granted. And that's the right to say what we want to say without getting into trouble. And getting into trouble usually means being prosecuted and, as happens to people in some countries, ending up in jail and losing your freedom. So the right to free speech is something that, in fact, we should never take for granted because it's not an absolute right. Every single country in the world, even the United States of America, which has the most respect constitutionally for freedom of speech in the First Amendment, even there, free speech is restrained. And because free speech is restrained everywhere, we've all got to be very vigilant because every government at some point tries to curb that right that is essential, really, to living in a democracy.
So it seems to me the key thing about free speech, and you might need to write this down because it always confuses me, is that no one has the right not to be offended. I know, it's really confusing. It confuses me because it's a double negative, right? So let's just do it again. No one has the right not to be offended. And I just think maybe it's worth just writing that down and having a think about that. What do you think?